Hey everybody, this is The Flash, and I am here with...
This is Harley Quinn.
And together we are...
The
Wonder
Twins!
Twins!
Wonder Twin powers, activate! Shape out an eagle!
Form of water!
And we are back in the new year. Happy New Year, Harley.
Happy New Year, Flash. It's been a little while again.
It has been, but we're only in weeks this time, not months. It's only been a couple weeks.
It's true.
A few, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was your holidays and stuff?
It was good. Everything, it was nice. We caught up with family and got some time off work, so it was relaxing. What about you?
Same. It was just nice. I got to spend the first Christmas with my new girlfriend, so it was really fun and exciting, and
That's exciting.
yeah, it was fun. So good holidays.
Awesome.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Here we go.
This is the Wonder Twins' first stab at the new show. We'll see what we can do with it, because I talked to you earlier today. It was mentioned on Facebook that somebody thinks you and me should take on the official, professional Golden Spiral Media Legend of Tomorrow podcast.
I think that's awesome.
That surprised me.
Yes.
It really surprised me, and it made me feel good. It made me feel happy, and I appreciate everybody that kind of supported that idea.
Yes.
And then I talked to Overlord and Miss Ice about it, and they are backing us. They said if we wanted to get on it, they would support us and back us. And
Oh, wow.
Kevin was giving me a whole bunch of advice and stuff about it. So whether or not anything like that even comes to fruition, it's of course up to Daryl. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you and me even talked about it, and we're like, whoa, we're not quite as polished and experienced as those guys. And
Definitely not.
but it would definitely be an honor, and it would be exciting, and yeah. So if it happens to come our way,
I'll do it.
We'll take that on and discuss and figure out what we can do with it and stuff. But so yeah, thank you for the people that were behind that idea. That was pretty cool. I'm guessing that those people have listened to us, to our little Wonder Twins, or maybe they're just going off of our guest spots on Arrow Squad. Who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if for sure if I think it was it Kelly?
Kelly, yes, Kelly.
Yeah, I think she goes by the Master Wordsmith on several of the GSM podcasts.
But she was the one who brought it up initially.
Yeah, she was. And so
So-
I mean, I know she's for sure heard us on Arrow Squad. So
Yeah.
we both call into both podcasts fairly frequently. So
people do know us; they hear us. So
they
either
do.
way, so appreciate if you're listening to this at all, Kelly. Thank you for that, and thank you for
Yes,
everybody
thank
that
you.
agreed with it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take on Legends of Tomorrow in our own little Wonder Twins way right now, and see what we think of it. This is season 1, episode 1.
The pilot.
The pilot episode. All right, here we go. Right off the bat, the thing it shocked me because I thought, here's a new comic book superhero show. Thought it was going to be kind of family oriented and bring in all the viewers they possibly can. And within the opening shots, we see Vandal Savage walk up to a woman protecting her young boy, shoots her, and you see her get shot and fly to the side. Then he gets down on one knee and has a little talk with the boy, and you think, okay, he's going to save the boy. He's going to probably take him under his wing or whatever. And then he stands up and says, you know what? I'm not going to save you, and he shoots the kid.
I was very surprised by that.
What is going on? Like, right off the bat, they cross two barriers that you don't see often in TV shows, and that's violence towards women and killing a kid.
Killing children.
Killing children.
It's Walking Dead territory.
So that right away is like, whoa, Savage he means business. He is one psychotic bad guy who doesn't give a poop about anybody because he's going to get what he wants.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's crazy.
So that laid the groundwork for this show as to what the heroes have to do, what they're up against, and the type of mission they're on, and how bad this villain is going to be. So That was quite an opening sequence, I would say.
Yeah, it was. And I mean, they just jumped right into it. Like,
Yeah.
here we go.
And then they go from that to Rip Hunter, the time traveler, and I had to laugh because it is being played by an I can't remember his name, Tarville, and I can't remember the actor's name offhand. Um, he comes from 2 seasons ago of Doctor Who, which is about a time traveling Time Lord, and here he is on Legends of Tomorrow playing a time traveling Time Master. And there he is in the center of a room with all these other Time Master like people around him, basically laying down the law that he has to follow their time laws that they established, and he can't do this, and he's arguing with them. And to me, it was exactly like Doctor Who and Doctor Who arguing with his Time Lords and all of their rules that they established about messing with the timeline. So I found that very humorous.
I have never watched Doctor Who, and I thought it was exactly like Doctor Who. So,
So pretty funny.
yeah.
But anyway, so now he gathers, and we talked about this before the show. The one thing I found about the show overall, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It's got a whole bunch of characters with very, very different personalities, and it's thrown them all together, and they have to learn to work together. So that was really fun to watch. But I found that it went along pretty quickly. They mashed them together really fast. They threw them, into their first mission pretty fast. It was moving along at like flash speeds.
Yeah, they did. But do you think that was mostly because we had the first half of Flash and Arrow setting all of this up? So instead of having to figure out who each of these 8 characters are, we already know who they are. So they just jump right in.
Which I agree with you, and that seems to be the general theme of a lot of TV shows these days is no longer do they want to spend an entire season setting up a story. They kind of jump right at it, go for the jugular right away, and you're in it right from the get-go.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean they did still do a little bit of history on some of the characters to flesh it out a little bit more, and my favorite part, I think, of everybody that's involved, I love the storyline for Hawkgirl and Hawkman. I love the continually being reincarnated and having to re-find each other, re-fall in love, and just living over and over. I love that story. I love that. I've always enjoyed it from the comic books, so I like how they're really following that in here. And the actors and stuff, they got it. It's great. I love Hawkman and Hawkgirl. I think between the two of them and Adam, I'm enjoying Brandon Routh's portrayal of Adam. He's the eternally optimistic, fun-loving guy that just wants to. He's like a big kid.
Yeah, he really is. He's kind of the comedic relief in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Of the show. I mean, he's the male Felicity of the team.
Team.
Yeah, it's kind of what it feels like.
Because they have to have one. So yeah, that kind of you're right there.
Yeah.
I mean, they get Heat Waves. I do like Heat Wave. He had some funny things to say. He was a pretty comical guy because he's just a big dumb oaf, basically.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And then of course Captain Cold. His cool as ice way he talks and just kind of laid back, but he's only in it for the money. And
oh yeah.
And then we come to White Canary, and she's resurrected Black Canary Sarah Lance, and not quite sure. We have no idea what they're going to do with her, where she's going to go.
Yeah, I'm very confused by this.
I liked her little bar fight scene. It just shows that she can fight. She still
That's
got
true.
it, and that was great.
That was pretty awesome.
But I know one of the questions when we were talking earlier, you would ask me, where is the show going? What is the plan of the show? What's the story arc going to be? What are you feeling it is? What do you think?
Well, I mean, so how they've set everything up initially is they have to go after Vandal Savage, but it seems, at least from the get-go, like they're getting to him quickly. Now, I'm sure something's going to come up in the next episode where, they just miss him or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, oh, hey, we've got this really good theory about where he is. And then they show a flash to, what was it, like Norway in 1975. So I don't know if that's where they were headed per se, but it shows you kind of where he is and what he's doing. So I was like, okay, well, that was kind of quick, but I guess that doesn't necessarily mean that's kind of exactly where they're going right now. I'm not sure what their theory is of where he is, quote unquote. They just said, well, I've got a good theory about that, and off they go.
Off they go.
Yeah. So, I mean, right now, I mean, it's definitely focused on Vandal Savage, which makes sense. That's the whole point. That's the whole premise of the show. I'm just kind of wondering how that's going to play out and how long they can sustain that.
Well, that, like you said, that's where they set it up. Vandal Savage is the big bad, and they're off to track him down. So I don't know if this show is supposed to go more than one season. I don't know if this is like a 10-part miniseries or a 6-part miniseries. I don't know what their long-term goals are for it, because if I
That's true.
haven't,
That makes a difference.
yeah, and if it is just a one-off season and they're only going after Vandal Savage, and then once they do that, they all break apart and go their own separate ways, or they're gonna come up with some other. I just can't see it being a show to last a long time. I did hear. I remember reading an interview somewhere that after this season of this group, it's going to continue, but it's going to be a whole different group. We'll lose 4 or 5 members and maybe keep 1 or 2 to carry on, but then they'll bring in other superheroes from comics and create a different team with a different mission. And
Interesting.
so that, I mean, that might be okay. That might be cool. It just depends on what they're doing. I mean, Vandal Savage right off the bat is a pretty crazy bad guy to be tracking down. So that I can see
Yeah.
him this taking a full season.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing, I mean, that's their main mission now. The other thing that we're seeing is if all of these heroes, which is 2 points we can bring up here. At first, he pitched to them that in the future, they are not heroes, they are legends. And that's what got them on board, and we all thought, yay, cool, we're going to see that story develop. And then the rug gets ripped out from under them.
Mm-hmm.
They are not heroes, they are nothing. The future doesn't even remember them, the future doesn't even care about them. And that kind of was a big downer and depressing, and you could see all of them being pretty upset about that. So what I see happening is that they all realize they don't really have a future that's worth living, so they are now going to try to rewrite that by becoming these legends. They are going to track down Vandal Savage. They are going to redeem themselves in their own rights. They are going to change whatever it is about themselves that they don't like, and that's the story arc we're going to see, is each character developing their own personal story.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, I'm always a big fan of, well, one, time travel stuff, of course, because time travel stuff is always awesome and complicated. But I like shows where it's like fate is not always determined. So you have some sort of a say in the outcome, or you can change your timeline, you can change your destiny. I don't like the predestined futures where nothing changes and the prophecy always has to be the same. So I like when they go with the theme of, you can see what you can change your fate. It's not set in stone. So I like that aspect of it. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm intrigued. I want to see where they go with it for sure. I just was kind of curious. I just didn't. It seemed like a one and done kind of thing. It didn't seem like something they could carry out season after season, unless it's a new big bad like they do with Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So they could do that too.
They could. I guess we're along for the ride, and we're going to see.
Yeah.
Now, the one point though that we brought up earlier that we both thought was funny and confusing, and we can throw this one out there and see if anyone else has some ideas. But the computer in his time traveling spaceship is Gideon.
It is.
Now, is this the Gideon from Flash? Because it looks the same, but it's a different voice. This Gideon had a British voice, whereas the Gideon on the Flash did not. So my question is, a couple parts. Is this the same Gideon? And if it is, why does Rip Hunter, the time traveler, have it? Does he have it before Barry Allen or after Barry Allen? Did he steal it from Barry Allen? Did he steal it from Harrison Wells? Or does he have it at, like, where did he get it from if it's the same? If it's not the same, why is it the exact same computer system, and it has the same name Gideon, does that tell us that in the future, kind of like we have now, everybody has Windows 7 or Windows 10, maybe in the future everybody has a Gideon, and that's just his Gideon.
His Gideon, like, I think they even make a reference to silly smartphones. So
Yeah.
instead of everyone having a smartphone, everyone has a Gideon.
Everyone has a Gideon.
See, I don't know. Do you remember offhand, I'm totally putting you on the spot, what year the future was for the season 1 of The Flash when they kept referencing that article in the future?
You are putting me on the spot. I do not remember what the year was. It wasn't.
I
It
don't
wasn't too
either.
far in the future because Flash was still alive, and they were just
That's a good.
the newspaper article was announcing his disappearance. So it can't be like 500 years in the future. It could only be, I'd say 20 to 50 years in that time range. I don't remember what the.
Because then he has to jump at some point because he encounters Reverse Flash, who's like his, because he talks about how he's Eddie's great 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 grandfather or something like that.
Yeah, you're
Or
right. So.
Eddie, whatever. You know
Well,
what I'm trying to say.
yeah. So that's where it's confusing because I think Eddie or Eobard Thawne is from. He's from quite a farther future where Flash is no longer alive because there's the Flash Museum and they're all studying the Speed Force and everything. I think he's from a farther future,
Right.
but because he can time travel, he went back in time to the whatever that time period is where that newspaper article is saying Flash has disappeared.
Right.
So anyway, why are you asking me the time? What's the
Oh.
yeah? What's the
I
relevance
laughed
here?
'cause I had a point.
You had a point.
Okay, so we know from season 1 of The Flash that Barry Allen is the one who creates Gideon originally. Now, I was trying to figure out when that occurred. If that occurred in 2046, I totally just made that number up, or if it occurred in, I don't know, 100 years from then, because Rip is from 2166. And I
Yes.
don't remember when Reverse Flash came from, but I think it was somewhere in between. I want to say it was at least 100 years, but I don't think it was quite the same time.
Okay, you keep talking. I'm gonna do a quick search about that,
Okay,
and
yeah. I should have looked it up, but I only just like thought of this right now as we were talking.
it's okay. But
Um,
connect your theory. What
well, so Barry creates it at some point, probably in the closer future, and then we know that at some point in the more distant future, Reverse Flash has it. So he at some point acquires Gideon from Barry. And then now Rip also has a version. So did Rip somehow also acquire the same thing? But then Rip's version is a little different because, like you said, she's British, but it's the same system. So at some point, does it just become popularized and that's how everybody gets it? Or did someone kind of acquire it from Barry? Or I don't know.
right? Okay, I just found it. So Eobard Thawne is from the 25th century, so that means 2400 and something. So
Oh,
he
wow.
actually is 400 years in the future.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's a big difference.
Yeah, huge.
So he's even after Rip's time then. But then how does that work if Vandal Savage is destroying the world? They're gonna have some serious timeline issues.
You may have just opened a can of something that we're not going to be able to figure out.
Yeah, probably 'cause it's not explainable or it's on Earth 7.
Yeah. So let's bring it back then to because this all started because of Gideon.
Yes.
What is the question you're trying to come up with in regards to Gideon? If it's the same computer as in
Yeah.
the
Is it the
Flash?
same one or is it just a different version that got popularized over the years?
Yeah.
It just seemed like a coincidence. The voice is different, distinctly different, but it's the
Yes.
exact same system.
It's the exact same system. So that's yeah, you're right.
And I feel like when Reverse Flash came back with Gideon, I just always got the impression that she was the only one. But that could just be me.
That's no, I felt that too because it seems like she's pretty darn unique
Yeah.
and one of a kind. So interesting. Interesting. Maybe I hope that they go somewhere with that and explain it a little bit.
I know. I totally just took the most minor part of the episode and blew it wide open.
That's gonna be a tough one. So I think did you have any other points about Legends of Tomorrow? Because we got a few
No.
in there.
No,
It
I
didn't
think
leave us with a lot to be able to discuss. I mean, I love the interactions with Firestorm.
Yes.
Those two are often quite funny. So
Victor Garber's my favorite. And he knocks him out. Who does that? So funny.
I don't have anything else to say yet, other than I think I'm gonna keep up with it and see where it goes, because
Yeah.
I am curious how all these characters are gonna end up working together and chasing Savage down and figuring out this timeline, and there's just a lot of interesting things going on with it.
There's a lot of interesting implications.
Hmm.
They're going to need to be careful, though, as they start changing things, because these universes are all interconnected. And I know that the Flash time jumps are not supposed to affect the Arrowverse, and yada yada yada. But I don't know. They're all in the same universe. How can they not all be interconnected?
Well, yeah, exactly.
So anyway,
All right. Well, I think that will wrap it up at that. I want everybody out there to know that we would love to hear from them. And I know with Arrow Squad and Central City Underground and stuff, they've got hundreds and hundreds of listeners, and there's only ever a handful of people that actually phone in. And I know that's because whether it's time restraints or they're too shy or don't want people to hear their voice or whatever, something like that. Um, so a lot of them email in or whatever different things. So I want to put out the same feeling towards everybody out there that we just want to hear from you. I would love to know, even at the very basic, just to say, hey, I'm listening to your podcast, just so we know. So we know that you're actually listening to us, and we can say thanks. It would be extra special, wonderful, appreciated if you wanted to actually send us some feedback and tell us what you think of how we're doing, because me and Harley here, we're brand new to this. We basically got thrown into it by surprise with Arrow Squad, asked to guest on there, and before we were just like you, just callers leaving our feedback. So we're brand new to this, and we're kind of learning as we're going, and we're kind of taking our cues from our leaders on Arrow Squad and doing our best to kind of give you an experience like that. Any advice or offerings or suggestions or requests. And then at the other end of it, we'd also like to just get feedback about your thoughts and feelings about the show, because we're trying to say things, you guys listen to Arrow Squad and you listen to Central City, and we don't want to repeat everything that was done. So we're kind of trying to bring up different points and different ideas, differently interesting to listen to. That's what we'd like you guys to kind of comment on and talk to us about your theories and ideas as well. What do you think, Harley?
I think that all sounds great. Yeah, I mean, just let us know. I mean, constructive criticism is great because we're brand new at this. So if you do kind of call in with some comment or write in with some comments like that, I mean, give us some good, give us some good feedback, maybe suggestions for improvements. Just don't write in and say, "Oh, you guys suck."
Because that doesn't help us any.
Because yeah, that's not helpful to anybody. But we do recognize that this is brand new to us, so any help is appreciated.
We totally appreciate it. And like I said, even just to let us know that, hey, we listened to you, that would be cool to know. I see the numbers, and there is some people out there, so it's be cool to know who is. Now, in order for them to be able to get in touch with us, the way it is set up, I have created the Facebook page, the Cybercast, a fan-made podcast. I will post a link to it in the Arrow Squad Facebook page and the Central City Facebook page. So from there you can go to our page, and there will be linked each Wonder Twins podcast on there, so you can actually comment under the link, just like on any Facebook page. You'll be able to leave a comment there so we can get you there. I am going to set up an email specifically for Cybercast, and I will post that. I will let you all know in our next one what it is, but I also post it on the Facebook page what the email is going to be, so that you can actually email it and leave your feedback there. The other way too is the audio website that is hosting all of the audio clips that we record. The website that I upload to them, when you click on the link in the Facebook page, it takes you to the website where the audio recording is, and you can actually scroll down on that and leave comments there as well. So there's two places you can leave comments, on where the audio clip is and on the Facebook page, and I will also set up an email for us. And right now, those will be the ways to contact. I did do a little bit of research about the Google phone number. I haven't finished that yet. I don't understand fully how it works yet, so that will come later. But it sounds like we'll be able to have phone numbers set up that people can phone in and leave messages on. So I'm still researching that. And there you go.
Awesome.
Well, Harley, once again, this has been fun. Episode 4. We officially are on episode counting now.
Woo!
Woohoo! So,
It's always fun to talk about our favorite shows.
exactly. Thank you for tuning in once again to the Wonder Twins podcast. We totally appreciate it. We're going to sign off now. This is Flash, signing off.
And this is Harley Quinn. I'm out.